Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. This is Zishan Asaq with Zishan on air every Sunday 6 p.m. and onward with all over the world through social media. I welcome all of you who are watching me live and also through the legacy media. And we're live on multiple platforms from Facebook Live to YouTube Live and Instagram Live. So this is great news for all those who are with me and connected through social media. This is an era of social media. And we cover a lot of key news and in depth analysis in terms of what's happening, not only all over the world, but also in the US. The first news is coming out of from this news outlet, The Hill, but also from Capitol Hill, as we call one of the buildings there. And the House Republicans narrowly reject effort to end Trump's war with Iran. And last time it also came close, but this time the vote was 213 to 214, with one Republican, Representative Thomas Massey from Kentucky, and backing the GOP leaders to support the resolution. One Democrat, Representative Jared Golden from Maine, joined most Republicans in opposing it. Representative Warren Davidson from Ohio is a Republican, voted present. So, what is happening? Well, the good news is that at least there is some pressure, political pressure, in terms of bringing the War Resolutions Act, authorizing the use of force, giving more authority to continuing a long-term war with a foreign nation, foreign country. That's basically where Trump will continue to see that if the War Resolutions Act would pass, then he may no longer going to continue the war with Iran. The bad news is that since it's not coming to the floor in terms of passing this resolution, so it would prolong the ceasefire negotiations, or maybe would end ceasefire, disrupting all the progress that is being made through back channel diplomacy. Now, the Telegraph has reported this: Saudi Arabia pressures Trump to scale back war on Iran. Now, some are arguing that maybe that's political optics, because MBS and Saudi Arabia were long considered as a rival in terms of the regional power, Iran. And then because of this war and how Iran has enhanced its regional supremacy over the skies, and no one was expecting that even Israel would be hit close to Tel Aviv or central Tel Aviv, as reported in many news outlets, as well as on Fox News Channel, which was interesting because they were not reporting this kind of news earlier during the conflict. It has been more than 6 weeks, seventh week, I would say, in terms of this war. The Strait of Hormuz was open and then closed again. So, what is happening with Saudi Arabia? We gotta keep an eye on the Saudi lobbying, and also in terms of how it reflects concern in Riyadh that Tehran would retaliate against the U.S. blockade by instructing its Houthi allies in Yemen to seal Bab al-Mandeb Strait, which is another one, a Red Sea choke point through much of the kingdom's oil supplies pass. So what they did, and you will see it in one of the news slide here in a moment, that they rerouted all of their supplies from Strait of Hormuz, when I say they, meaning Saudi Arabia, to Red Sea by one of their seaport hub, Yambo. And that's interesting because everyone knew before going into the war that Iran, for many decades, threatened that if they are going to be attacked, they will shut down Strait of Hormuz, and they did exactly that. So this is where you can see on this map that the Strait of Hormuz on the top, and then the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, but the Houthis can even shut down Red Sea. So there is a lot to leverage in terms of this whole landscape, and Iran will certainly is in a better position when it comes to leverage, when it comes to negotiations, because in negotiations you always need leverage. However, they are also threatened, obviously, by the continuous threats issued by Trump, and he issued one more today. So Saudi Arabia's greater tolerance for risk was partly rooted in geography. Unlike its neighbors, it has two coastlines, the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea. So this is where Ras Tanura on the Gulf to the Red Sea port of Yambo, that's where they rerouted much of its crude exports. Yambo via its 750-mile east-west pipeline. So that's something we will keep an eye on in terms of the role of the Houthis and how this war, if it continues to get into the 8th week or 9th week or 10th week, or I hope not, but you never know. So Saudi Arabia is pressing the United States to scale back its war in the Middle East, fearing Iran could retaliate by blocking that Red Sea and paralyzing the kingdom's economy. If that would happen, then I would imagine this war would be over in hours, or maybe less than 24 hours, because that would send ripple effects globally in terms of the oil that would not reach to many countries, and Saudi Arabia is one of the largest exporters of oil. As Israel and Lebanon begin ceasefire, Trump says Iran and US may meet this weekend, as Reuters reported. However, we are not seeing any news emerging in terms of that aspect. However, Pakistan's military chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir, traveled to Tehran, and this is interesting because the army chief of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, they take the oath that they will never, ever get into politics. All these negotiations, everything that is happening, that's all politics. So that's something for Pakistanis to think about right now. They're thumping their chests as if they have conquered Israel or Palestine has been liberated. That's one argument. And the other argument that at least Pakistan is playing a positive role in terms of negotiations. It all depends on what side of the aisle you sit on, and whether you're a Pakistani or a well-wisher of Pakistan, or maybe you're just an objective, reasonable person where you may have to question the role of the Pakistanis. However, World Bank has also changed Pakistan's region from South Asia to Middle East and North Africa. And this news, in fact, came out in December of 2025. However, I will also share this particular website. This is blogs.worldbank.org, where youth unemployment by economy, and then Pakistan obviously is below Saudi Arabia at 9.9%. This is youth unemployment rate by economy, total labor force, ages 15 to 24. And this is from MENAAP 2024 report. Now, if you are a Pakistani, you would certainly be thinking that perhaps you want to see your economy growing. You want to see unemployment numbers going down, and unemployment should be as low as possible, and the economy growing. But it's not happening in Pakistan. So this is where it's interesting why the World Bank has moved Pakistan. There are a lot of, I would say, speculations on that, but at the same time, some are also arguing that it's also because Pakistan's role in this latest development within the Middle East, and how Pakistan is working closely with Saudi Arabia and also with Iran and trying to play a mediator role. So we will see if that has anything to do with it, or is just something that at the end of the day, in terms of how World Bank looks at all these numbers. So population share by economy in Middle East and North Africa, share of total population, that's where Pakistan is at 30.9%, even beating Egypt, Iran, Algeria, Iraq, and Afghanistan as well. So that's a big number. Even look at all the other players like Morocco at 4.7, Saudi Arabia. So that's another key reason where World Bank may have moved Pakistan to this category in terms of the huge economic challenges that Pakistanis and the state of Pakistan is facing. You cannot just run a country based on military. Look at North Korea. I mean, they have not progressed. Look at South Korea, they have progressed well. If you look at Pakistan, India has progressed so well in terms of economy. When it comes to the latest numbers, Pakistan, in fact, has been placed correctly in North Africa or the African nations, because all these other countries are very close in terms of the rankings when you look at some African nations. So it's unfortunate that Pakistan has now been placed with Africa. Middle East is a separate situation because they got oil, but these are very volatile regions. So something to think about. Here is more in terms of the Pew polling. So what has happened in recent months, and I would say for past couple of years, because of this pressure from Benjamin Netanyahu, older Republicans and white evangelicals are the last groups to hold majority favorable views of Israel, according to recent Pew polling. So this is very interesting in terms of how politics have changed in America. For other groups, Israel's favorability has collapsed since 2022. Here are some numbers, and you can see it on the screen. Down 31% points among older Democrats, ages 50 plus. Down 22% points among both younger Republicans, GOP leaners, and younger Dems and Dem leaners. Down 14 percentage points among Protestants, 23% among Catholics, and 20% among the religiously unaffiliated. Even white evangelical support, which was at 80% in 2022, has slid by 15 points. So this is very interesting in terms of how the public opinion has changed in the past couple of years of Israel. Express has reported Trump issues chilling new warning to Iran. Quote, whole country will get blown up, unquote. So he has put all this information on Truth Social. Quote, bridges and power plants will be targeted if Iran does not sign this agreement, unquote. So Trump is certainly putting a lot of pressure. And then he's saying that a total violation of our ceasefire agreement because of these shots fired at vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Many of them were aimed at a French ship and a firefighter and a freighter from the UK. That wasn't nice, was it? He's asking a question mark. My representatives are going to Islamabad, Pakistan. They will be there tomorrow evening for negotiations. Let's see. Round two. Iran swiftly reversed course on reopening the Strait of Hormuz, and this is what's happening. The New York Times has also reported for Iran flexing control over waterway is new deterrent, as you can see on the screen. And then some more information which you can read on. I'm not going to go into those details in terms of what New York Times is reporting, but this is where we are. And here is Iran is also digging out its supply of missiles, similarly buried in rubble from American attacks on its bunkers and depots. When that work is done, Iran could reclaim as much as 70% of its pre-war arsenal, according to some American estimates. So that's interesting. And on the local news, very somber news coming out of this particular situation that happened with the Shreveport Police Department reported with the total of 10 people were shot, 8 children killed in Louisiana mass shooting. And our thoughts and prayers are with the victims' families and the city, as well as for people in Louisiana. The city council and one person reported, quote, this is the result when someone snaps, unquote, Taylor said. So I'm going to ask the community, along with prayer, with every mental health consultant that is out there, this family and this community needs you, unquote. And this is where that Shreveport City Council and the council chair, Tabata Taylor, said this through tears. So mental health is an issue. One key aspect of it, no one can see it. Physical wounds or physical health, people at least, or doctors or physicians, they can. So please make sure that your mental health is good. And with that, I am going to share some key information from our key advertisers, especially Affordable Insurance of Texas. If you're looking for very affordable rates, especially on auto insurance and commercial insurance, business insurance, and homeowners insurance. And if you bundle your insurance, especially with the auto insurance and homeowners insurance, you can get a lot of discounts. So please connect with them. I have been their customer as well, and you can call them and they will give you a quote. It's a very simple process. Their number is 737-854-4000, 713-785-4000. When you call them, please mention Zishan on here, because it's important that you give them this message, because that's how you support Zishan on here as well, and it's easier for their tracking as well. And if online, just send them an email or contact them if you're in other city or in Texas or in other state. AITinsurance.com is their web address. So 737-854-4000, Affordable Insurance of Texas, that's the phone number, and on the web, AITinsurance.com. I would also like to talk about Roop Sardi Palace for your different wardrobe, and if you want to upgrade your wardrobe, or for grooms and for brides and for men, women, and children of all age groups, even teenagers. They have a huge showroom. Even for men, there's a separate showroom, and thousands of square footage. That's where you will find all this different clothing line at Group Sardi Palace. They are at Hillcroft, and those of you who would like to schedule a virtual video tour, call 832-267 0065, 832-267-0065. You can call and schedule a video virtual tour, and online go to www.groupsari.com. And I would like to talk about food, obviously. For over 25 years, Shehanai Restaurant Catering, they're serving the community, and they have specialized in catering for 700, 600, 400 people. And even if you want to go and eat buffet, all you can eat buffet, 30 plus items, Monday to Friday. Vegetarian items, buffet, $12.99. Non-veg, $14.99. Takeout buffet, $7.99 per pound, as you can see it on your screens. And ShehanaiTexas.com is the web address for party trays or other menu. With that, call them 739-531-388 and get discounts and good pricing on catering as well. ShehanaiTexas.com. Call Mr. Shahid Ali, 739-531-388. With that, I'm going to continue with the legacy media and stay connected with legacy media as well as with our programs. And thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.